G'day, welcome to Todd's Kitchen. Over the years I've made a number of marshmallow recipes. I've made some original marshmallows, some colourful and tasty ones, but this one's even better. So join me today as I make my version of chocolate marshmallows. Now to start this off, in a microwave safe bowl I have a quarter cup of water, plus I've added an additional 2 tablespoons. And we're going to place this into the microwave for 2 minutes until it comes to a boil. Okay, our water is now boiling hot. So to that I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of cocoa powder. And just give it a good whisk until it's well combined. And dissolved in the water. Okay, so next into the mixing bowl that we're going to be using to mix our final marshmallow product, I'm going to place in 1/2 cup of water, followed by 2 tablespoons of gelatine. And we're going to let that sit there for about 10 minutes to give a chance for that gelatine to soak in all the water and soften up. Okay, now that our gelatin is completely softened, we're going to add in our chocolate mixture that we made up earlier. And we're going to give this a good whisk for about, say, 2 minutes until it's completely combined. Okay, now that that's all mixed, next I have a pot on the stove on a medium to high heat. And to that I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of water, followed by 2 cups of sugar. And finally 3/4 of a cup of glucose or corn syrup. And just to make things easy, I've just put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. Just makes it easy to pour. Then just simply slowly stir it over this medium to high heat until the sugar is dissolved. Just make sure it's slow, you don't do it too fast, you don't want to get too much sugar forming on the inside of the pot. Okay, so our sugar is dissolved and as you can see it is just starting to come up to a boil now. So this is going to take about 10-15 minutes. And we're going to let this cook over this medium to high heat. But every now and then, just with a wet brush, just brush the inside of the pot just like so. When you see sugar forming, and that'll just stop any crystals from forming on top of your mixture. And also at this point we're going to place in a candy thermometer, and we want this to get to the soft ball stage, which is 240 degrees Fahrenheit or at about 115 degrees Celsius. And if you don't have one, I highly recommend that you buy one because they're super cheap, but they make it so easy. Because we're making marshmallows, it really is an exact science when it comes to temperature. And as soon as it gets to the desired temperature, take it straight off the heat. It's very important you don't let it get any hotter. Okay, so our syrup has just reached temperature and I've just taken it straight off the stove. And now I have our mixer on low. Make sure it's on low, not any higher, because this syrup is very hot. So we're just going to very slowly pour our mixture into our bowl and just let it mix in as it goes. So just take your time, no need to rush. Okay, so once it's all poured in, we're going to slowly turn up the speed, just a little bit at a time. As it starts to cool down and thicken, you're going to turn it up higher and higher. But the reason we're doing it very slowly is because you just don't want to splash yourself, because as I said, this is red hot. So this is cooling the mixture down, but it's also going to whip the air into it as well, which gives it that nice fluffy marshmallow. But all up, this is going to take about 20 minutes, and you should be able to have it on as high as it can go after about the first 5 minutes. And it's just going to whip away for another 15 minutes until it comes up to a nice, glossy, fluffy marshmallow paste. Okay, so it's really started to cool down now, so I'm going to turn it up to the whipping, and we're going to let that whip away for a good 15 minutes. And you know what's ready? When it's nice and hard, but it's cooled down, but it's also very glossy at the same time. Oh, look how glossy and thick that now is. Oh, yummy. Okay, so lastly I've got a baking tray here and I've lined it with non-stick baking paper. And because marshmallows are very sticky, I'm just going to give it an extra grease with some cooking spray oil. And then we're simply going to pour our marshmallow mixture on top. And that's all you have to do. Now we're just going to simply let this sit here for a good 10 hours to completely set. You don't need to do anything with it. Don't put it in the fridge. Just leave it at room temperature. You don't want it to cool down too fast. Otherwise it'll sweat. Okay, now would you look at that. It is nicely set. Now there are a number of ways you can cut it. You can use a knife, but personally I like to use a pizza cutter. This makes it a lot easier to cut into the desired shapes that you're after. Now these marshmallows are still very sticky, just like the normal ones you buy in the shops. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some cocoa powder, and we're just going to sprinkle some cocoa powder on top. And that'll just make it easier to handle so you don't get those sticky marshmallows on your fingers. And there we have our absolutely delicious chocolate marshmallows. Now I cannot describe just how good these taste. It really is a lovely rich chocolate taste, but as a marshmallow. Now I've tried a number of different chocolate marshmallow recipes, and this is by far my favorite version. The marshmallows are still very spongy, just like a normal marshmallow. Very airy, and when you bite into one of these, apart from going to flavor heaven, you'll know these taste simply delish. And they're also incredibly easy to make, and you're not going to find these in the shops too often. So it's best to make them at home because, well, homemade's always better anyway. So thank you for watching this episode of Todd's Kitchen. As always, I'll leave a list of ingredients down below in the description, as well as links to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Home Handy Hints channel. And please do me a massive favour by giving this video a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another delicious recipe.